They said legendary Hollywood icon Jean Hackman simply died under odd circumstances. That was the official word, a tragic end to a storied career and a quiet marriage. But nothing about his final days adds up, not once you look past the headlines. Days after his passing, investigators unearthed something that turned a routine inquiry into a full-blown enigma. A clandestine tunnel beneath the Hackman estate, filled with disturbing photographs, unread letters, and cryptic symbols etched into the walls. From that moment on, the case spiraled into a web of theories involving hidden Hollywood history, government secrets, and an actor who might have been far more than he appeared. As rumors swirl and authorities go silent, one unsettling question persists. What was Jean Hackman hiding, and did that secret cost him his life? The story begins with an unexpected phone call to the local police. Reports of two unresponsive individuals at Jean Hackman's luxurious Santa Fe home. Authorities arrived expecting a straightforward tragedy. Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found in their bedroom with no obvious sign of foul play at first glance. Initially, it seemed like a sudden, unfortunate passing due to natural causes. But word traveled fast, reaching federal investigators who seemed strangely eager to comb through every inch of the home. Neighbors watched as a convoy of black SUVs and unmarked trucks rolled onto the manicured property. The hush surrounding their arrival was unnerving. Why would a seemingly routine case attract so many high-level officials? Local law enforcement handed over the scene almost immediately, fueling whispers that something about Hackman's death warranted federal interest. The tension escalated when, during the sweep of the mansion, agents discovered an unusual protrusion in the basement wall. One official noticed faint scuff marks on the floor, as though a heavy bookshelf had been moved repeatedly. Behind that shelf, officers discovered a false wall that pivoted open, revealing a narrow passageway leading deep underground. That alone would have been enough to raise eyebrows. An acclaimed Hollywood star with a hidden tunnel nobody knew about. But the real shock came once the agent stepped inside. The air felt oppressively damp, and the walls were lined with electrical wires that seemed decades old. This was not a casual afterthought or a whimsical renovation. Someone had gone to great lengths to conceal it. A stunned silence fell over the team as they followed the cramped corridor, flashlights bouncing across time-worn bricks, and the occasional cryptic symbol scratched into the mortar. At the corridor's end, they found a heavy wooden door sealed tight. What lay behind it would spark controversy, inspire rumors, and ultimately leave the world wondering who Jean Hackman truly was. Once the door creaked open, the agent stepped into a small room that felt like a museum of forgotten relics. Only the artifacts here were disturbing rather than enlightening. Wooden crates stacked 3 high formed a makeshift wall along one side, each box sealed shut with rusted nails. A layer of dust coated everything, suggesting this chamber had been untouched for years, if not decades. Near the entrance, an old table held scattered papers, frayed documents, and black and white photographs. A musty odor clung to the air, intensifying the oppressive sense of secrecy. The first photographs were innocuous, images of classic Hollywood sets, behind-the-scenes glimpses of stars whose names have since faded from memory. But as the agents dug deeper, they uncovered pictures that defied simple explanation. One photograph, particularly, caused the investigators to go pale. It showed a group of men standing in what appeared to be a 1940s setting, dressed in period attire. At first glance, it seemed like a typical vintage photo, until they noticed one man bore an uncanny resemblance to Jean Hackman himself, appearing unchanged by time. For a moment, the agents wondered if it was just a trick of the light or a look-alike. Then they found another image, this one from the 1960s, and the same face appeared again, identical, unaged, and seemingly immune to the passage of time. Curiosity propelled them further. They pried open a few crates to see what other strange objects might be hidden within. One contained a mix of film reels labeled with cryptic code names rather than titles. Another held stacks of letters tied together with string, many sealed in envelopes never addressed to anyone. The largest crate revealed a bizarre collection of worn, leather-bound journals, their covers embossed with arcane shapes and alchemical symbols. Each symbol seemed methodically drawn, implying deep knowledge or obsession with occult practices. And in one corner of this subterranean chamber, a single symbol was carved repeatedly into the wall, as if Hackman or someone before him was trying to send a message that only a select few could decipher. Every discovery raised more questions than answers. Why would a man beloved for his iconic roles hide away a secret stash of photos, coded letters, and unexplained symbols under his home? Had he been researching something? Protecting something? Or, as some began to whisper, involved in activities that delved into the darkest corners of secret societies? The notion might have sounded absurd if the evidence weren't laid out in such a stark, tangible way. Before anyone could even begin to unravel the significance of these items, the real bombshell dropped. The FBI took immediate custody of everything found in the tunnel: reels, letters, crates, even the furniture. The official line was that they were investigating the cause and nature of Hackman's death, but their overzealous approach hinted at something bigger. For the public, the emergence of the hidden tunnel turned the once simple narrative of Hackman's passing into a scandalous puzzle. In hushed circles, people started to ask a chilling question. If Hackman was hoarding secrets, who else might be implicated? And how far would powerful entities go to keep those secrets buried? When it comes to older Hollywood lore, rumors of secret societies, clandestine rituals, and hidden knowledge have always floated at the fringes. Most dismiss them as conspiracy chatter. But the symbols carved into Hackman's tunnel walls suggested something more structured, more methodical. Scholars who managed to glimpse leaked photos of these markings identified them as combinations of alchemical icons, Masonic references, and lesser-known sigils often associated with fringe occult groups. None of this was absolute proof of anything, but it painted a picture of a man who delved deep into arcane knowledge, or at least found it significant enough to preserve underground. Whispers began circulating that Hackman had connections to obscure clubs in Hollywood, a hidden network where the elite gathered to exchange forbidden knowledge. Some claimed this was all nonsense, the product of overactive imaginations feeding on the mystique of show business. But those who believed in Hollywood's darker underbelly insisted that these symbols were a code used by insiders, a language of power and secrecy that has existed since the earliest days of the film industry. That possibility alone was enough to send conspiracy theorists into a frenzy. But not everyone was convinced these markings pointed solely to occult or secret society ties. Another group of investigators studying archival records suggested the symbols might relate to intelligence operations from World War II or the Cold War era. Occasionally, espionage agencies used coded emblems or disguised references in safe houses. Could Hackman's tunnel have once served a clandestine government purpose before he took ownership? Or had he learned about a hidden government link and decided to continue their work, or keep it sealed away? As more journalists tried to chase the story, they hit a wall of silence. The FBI, local authorities, and even Hackman's known associates refused to discuss the markings or the significance of the materials found. The more the official channels clammed up, the louder the theories became. In a world hungry for answers, the mismatch between official silence and explosive rumors ignited a firestorm of speculation. By now, this once-beloved actor's death had morphed from a solemn Hollywood affair into a cryptic puzzle overshadowing Hackman's entire legacy. People demanded to know, were these symbols just the relics of a curious mind, or evidence of something that might rewrite the narrative of Hackman's life, and possibly Hollywood history itself? As if a hidden tunnel, cryptic letters, and suspicious photographs weren't enough, real-life events around Hackman's death kept getting stranger. Days after the FBI's arrival, one of his elderly neighbors vanished without a word. This man was known to be a quiet individual who'd lived nearby for decades. Occasionally, he and Hackman would be spotted chatting by the mailbox or strolling along the property line. Then, suddenly, his house stood empty. Mail piled up on the porch and his car collected dust in the driveway. The authorities never listed him as missing, and family members, if he had any, never came forward. It was as though he simply evaporated from existence. Hackman's wife Betsy Arakawa had also shared unsettling stories in the weeks leading up to their deaths. Close acquaintances later recounted how she complained about phone calls at odd hours, rings that abruptly ended once she picked up. Occasionally, she mentioned seeing strange vehicles parked near the estate's entrance, headlights dimmed as though they were surveilling the property. When approached, these cars would speed away, vanishing into the night. Friends chalked it up to typical celebrity harassment or paparazzi, but looking back, they wondered if there was something more sinister at play. With each new development, the idea of Hackman's death being routine or natural receded further into impossibility. These bizarre events formed an expanding tapestry of shadows and intrigue. Hollywood, for its part, said next to nothing, which only heightened suspicions. One would expect tributes, memorials, and emotional testimonies from co-stars and longtime collaborators, but the tributes that did appear seemed oddly muted and formulaic. There were no high-profile gatherings, no heartfelt speeches. It was almost as if the entire film industry was collectively averting its gaze, unwilling to draw attention to the swirling questions. In that silence, the public imagination filled the void, weaving tales of clandestine vendettas, secret societies, and hush-money deals. While some dismissed it all as overblown hype, many found the hush from Tinseltown to be the loudest clue of all. Perhaps no one wanted to be the next to vanish. Perhaps they feared their own secrets might come spilling out if they probed too deeply into Hackman's final affairs. Or maybe, just maybe, some of Hollywood's biggest names were part of the very network that Hackman's hidden tunnel threatened to expose. When the world first learned of Jean Hackman's passing, most expected a solemn goodbye to a cherished actor. Instead, they got an unsettling glimpse into a reality that might stretch far beyond Hollywood's glitz. In that hidden tunnel, investigators discovered a story no one was prepared for. A narrative involving cryptic symbols, old photographs that defy age, and chilling letters that reveal a man tormented by the threat of watchful, unknown forces. To this day, we're left speculating on what truly happened beneath that lavish Santa Fe estate. Was Hackman a guardian of dark Hollywood secrets passed down through generations? Did he inadvertently unearth relics from a government operation, stumbling into a labyrinth of conspiracies? Or was he a whistleblower with evidence capable of shattering reputations and rewriting American history? So, what do you believe happened? Was Hackman's death an unfortunate twist of fate, or something more orchestrated? Part of an elaborate cover-up that touches on secret societies, hidden government projects, or an underbelly of Hollywood power? We might never be sure until someone with the right evidence steps forward or the contents of that mysterious safe finally see the light of day. Until then, all we can do is question, theorize, and share whatever fragments of truth slip through the cracks. One thing is certain: the story of Jean Hackman isn't over. As new details emerge and contradictory clues surface, this strange case challenges everything we think we know about fame, power, and the secrets that remain hidden behind even the brightest lights. Stay curious, stay skeptical, because in a world where influential figures shape the narrative, the only way to uncover the truth might be to keep asking the questions no one else dares to. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to share your theories in the comments. If you're fascinated by the hidden stories behind Hollywood's iconic figures and the forces that work tirelessly to keep them hidden, subscribe and turn on your notifications. Because when more details surface in the Jean Hackman saga, or if another mind-blowing secret from Tinseltown's dark corners emerges, you'll want to be among the first to know.